Okay, I'm using my cheap mic and it's really late right now, so I have to whisper, so bear with me. But I wanted to ramble specifically about this drawing. This drawing I started back in 2020, I think. Could be later, could be a little earlier, but somewhere around there is when I started it. And I just never continued it, did not touch it until eventually this year, January 2025, when I decided to rework it because there was this character that I really, really liked, so I kept redrawing them over and over again. Well, that's an exaggeration. I drew them twice. Once. Twice. Somewhere around there. But right now what you're seeing is like all the old original sketch that I was originally doing for the drawing. I still use most of it, specifically for the body. The head gets a whole rework. Like it's a completely new character. I remember I was struggling with the outfit, so you'll see me doodle a lot of random outfits on it as well. And I'm really glad that I ended up revisiting this drawing, specifically because I also remember I was streaming this drawing, which is why you'll see some names pop up here and there, because I stream whenever I draw. And I remember during the time somebody came in and I have a really bad habit of just being a very slow artist. I take my time on my drawings, and sometimes that could add up to months of drawing. And somebody came in and was like, "Oh, here's another drawing you'll never finish," or something along the lines of that. And during that moment, I laughed it off. I was like, "Haha, yeah, what another drawing?" But it was also like kind of a fishy comment because, well, considering the context during that time, that person was fighting with somebody that I knew. So a part of me was wondering, like, are you saying that because you're mad at the person and you're projecting onto me? Like, hold on. I didn't say anything, obviously. During the moment, I was like, haha, hee hee, so funny. But then I thought about it. I'm like, it's kind of it's kind of rude to just go in and be like, add another drawing to the list. You're not gonna finish it. And now 3 years later, or five, freaking it's 2025. Oh my god. Anyways, years later, here I am finally freaking finishing it. So, haha. Guess who's laughing now? The best part is I returned to the drawing. Honestly, the reason I even stopped working on this drawing. Oh, see? Wait, this is where I start reworking it. The whole facial sculpture gets changed drastically because now I'm more into semi-realism. So instead of me doing that chibi face, I did semi-realism. I don't know. I'm still trying to practice. I really want like that doll-like appearance. So that's what I've been pushing for my characters. Um. Anyways, the reasons I stopped working on this drawing is because I liked it a ton, but something about it just kept feeling off. And every time I would go back to it, I just didn't really feel like continuing with it. But I liked the face. Like, if you isolate the face of the original, it was great. I liked it. But it just didn't feel right. Like, the character didn't fit the pose. I couldn't figure out an outfit. So ultimately, I decided to just drop the drawing until I felt like picking it back up again. So obviously, time flew by. And then I dug this character out of my old little sketchbooks from when I used to do paper drawings. And I found the character and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to revisit this character because it was during a time that I would draw a lot of like flamboyant designs, very bold, very out there. And one of the biggest reasons I stopped drawing those character designs was because I kind of hated receiving the same question of like, that doesn't look like a guy. And I'm like, yeah. And it got so exhausting that in the end I was like, I'm just gonna stop drawing pretty boys because I kind of hate being questioned all the time. And it just got exhausting. But, eventually I realized the whole reason I really started drawing is because I liked drawing these pretty characters. So I was like, let's just freaking go back into it. And as of sometime at the end of last year, 2024, I started to draw the way that I used to draw things that I liked, draw outfits, draw the colorful interactions and whatnot. Basically, drawing based off of the stuff that I would have liked to draw back then. I just wasn't capable of it back then, or just didn't feel like I was achieving that ideal image. Even right now, I still feel like I'm not achieving the ideal image in my head whenever I draw these drawings, but it's definitely better. No offense to younger me. I'm sure younger me was very much amazing, especially if I was capable to draw this in 2022 or whatever freaking year I started it. But I went back into it, and I've honestly have been enjoying it. I've been looking back at all my old drawings and all my old characters and seeing what it is about these old characters that I used to really like, or seeing what it is that I liked about these visual designs in my head. And here's a little doodle that I did for somebody actually. I have a Twitch redeem where somebody can redeem it and they can ask me to doodle something, so I just do a quick little sketch of something. I don't know, it very much depends. Oh, my computer's ringing. This character, I kind of am still adjusting them a little bit as I go. Like, for the most part, it is how I designed them in the beginning, but I made a couple of tweaks, specifically with the hair. You'll see later, I ended up coloring it red, but I ended up changing them back to being a brunette. But the thing is, all of my freaking characters are brunettes. I keep doing brown hair over and over and over again. It's just driving me insane. I know I need to split away from it, but brown hair is just perfection. I don't really have much else to add. I ended up redoing a lot of the rendering. Specifically, you'll notice that I redid the entire torso as well as the face shading a little bit. Right now, it's not really that noticeable. I'm being really slow with progress because I'm probably focusing on a specific area. Here, it's probably the skin that I'm focusing on. I wish I could record like my actual canvas when I'm working on it instead of it being static. Personally, I'm not a fan of static speed paints because you don't really get to see where it is that my pen is working on. Like right here, I think I'm working on the hair. Yeah, it's definitely the hair. I struggled a ton with rendering. I still don't even know how to render hair, I'll be honest. Whenever I render hair, it's mostly wish me luck, and I paint and I paint and I paint. There's just so many hair methods. There's like cartoony methods, there's more dramatic methods, more realistic, more this. Some people render by intuition, I think, so they don't even do hair strands, like they don't even line it in or anything. But for me, it's so awkward because I don't know what to do. Every single art piece of every single hair piece, I guess, is always rendered differently. I have no steady system, so it drives me insane, which is funny because hair I feel is the most expressive part of my drawings. I think here I also adjusted the face a little bit because something just felt off. I try to follow like the anatomy of a head, you know, the rules, the thirds and whatnot, and all the corner of the lips have to be the center of the pupils, yada yada. And I try to follow those guidelines, but most of the time I keep wanting to break those guidelines because it just doesn't feel right. And lo and behold, then something looks off. I'm like, I need to keep adjusting it. So Liquify Tool has been my best friend for the most part. Absolutely love it. I'm also toggling between a texture. You'll see that every once in a while the canvas goes grainy, and it goes grainy because I toggle on this paper texture to mimic marker paper. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I feel like if I mimic traditional art, I'm able to focus more on what it is that I'm rendering rather than trying to get every detail down to the pixel. I don't know, if you focus too much, I find that you just lose the composition of a drawing, if that makes sense. And here I was trying to find a background. I settled with a pinky background, surprisingly. And I say surprising because I typically avoid pink overall. I'm just not a fan of pink. But this time, this character kind of resonated it, so I was like, I'll bite. Like, I'll admit, pink is a pretty color, but I try to stay away from it as much as I can. I don't know, it's just a personal thing to me. I feel like it's a rule for some reason. But here I am, breaking it. And honestly, I'm glad that I did. I also found like a bunch of really cool tools that I was playing around with. Specifically tools that mess with like filters and rendering like the background or like the shadow of the back. Very cool stuff. That's why I love Clip Studio. You can have a ton of fun with that. I also ended up doing some lace around the borders, which I felt only added to that cutesiness. And I'm still developing the character in general, so I have to design their interests and whatnot. And I'm thinking I could add pink as like one of their favorite interests or something. I don't know. I'm still writing down their story and figuring stuff out. But even when I do figure stuff out, I still change it down the line. Like, it could be 20 years. I'm like, you know what? Even though spaghetti has been their favorite for 20 years, we're making it beef now or something. I don't know. Oh, I also added that bloom effect. That kind of like gives it that soft appearance. I had a lot of fun. And here I'm like at last minute adding his tail because I always forget his tail. So every single art piece I have to add it in last minute, which I mean, it actually blends in very nicely, so didn't mess up too much. But I'm just glad. I'm glad I ended up finishing it. I definitely want to draw this character more, or at least get used to these designs specifically. So hopefully down the line I'll be able to draw way more than I would normally. I know I've slowed down this past month, so we shall see.